I'm sure that most, if not all of you, are familiar with Google image searches, but you may not be familiar with some of the refinements that you can process when you are doing image searches. So I wanted to show you a couple of tabs that I go to when I do searches for imagery in my projects, and that might help you as you work forward in yours. And since we're all working on a kayak brochure for this course, let's go search for images of kayaks. And again, I think probably many of you have already done this search, and perhaps this page looks familiar. These are images that come up in an image search for kayaking, and if you mouse over each of the images, you'll notice that the size in pixels comes up in the lower corner. And of course, the higher the number, the larger the image. This one, for instance, is not very large. It's 500 by 333. And as nice an image as it is, it's a lot smaller than this one. So this one would be more applicable for your use because you can shrink it down and then increase the resolution of it. Remember that these are going to come down as lower res images because they're online. So you want to look for a high number. But one of the filters that I like to use is the image size. And if you click on Search Tools, you'll get a submenu here, and if you click on size, you can ask Google to return only large images. And so I did that, and you may get fewer images, you may get more limited images, but we do have some nice ones here. And if you mouse over them, you can see that they are pretty high in pixels, which means you can download them, open them up in Photoshop, and change the resolution, which will shrink the image, but it will give you a better quality image. So you want these high numbers here. And if you wanted to run an image of, say, a kayak across the whole top of your brochure, you're going to want to look for the highest numbers as possible here. This one's pretty good, 3428 by 1500. Now if you wanted to get that image, you click on it, and here in Firefox all I need to do is just click and drag the image onto my desktop, and it comes over as a JPEG right there, and I can open this image up in Photoshop and do my editing right there. So that's great. Now, that's fine for getting large images, but sometimes you want to make sure, and this isn't the case for your student projects, you can use any images you want, but if you were working for a client in the business world, or if you were working on something that was going to be used publicly, you'd want to make sure that your images were legal and free of copyright constraints. So this tab here, Usage Rights, is a handy one to know about because it will allow you to do a search for ones that are legal and labeled for reuse. Okay, you notice the non-commercial reuse here. I generally go to this one, labeled for reuse with modification, because then I know that I could change the image if I wanted to. I could crop it, I could recolor it, that sort of thing. So I click on labeled for reuse with modification. And you'll notice that my large image search is still active. So now what I'm seeing here are large images that are labeled for reuse with modification. That means they're okay to use. I generally cite the source anyway, just to be courteous, but I'm not going to get any copyright infringement hassles by using any of these. Okay, so let's say we like this one. I know that I can use this and it looks really good. Again, to drag it to your desktop, you just click and drag to download it, and it comes right over as a JPEG. If you wanted to get the image URL, the actual location of it on the internet, click on View Image. You'll get it full screen there. Boy, that's really good quality. And up here is your image URL. And if you were to put that into a browser, you'd be taken right to this image. Okay. Now, if you want instead the actual website where the image came from, you go to instead Visit Page. Click on it and it takes you to the page where the image came from. This happens to be Wikimedia Commons, which is a resource bank of imagery, which is really helpful. So this would be the website citing that you would use. So you can either use the image URL, or in this case the actual website where the image came from, for citing your sources. Okay, so These filters are really great to know about as you do your searching. You can get larger images. You can filter by color if you want just black and white images. You can filter by photographs, clip art, line drawing. Now, the more filters you apply, the fewer images you'll probably get in your returns. But it does allow you to filter and to customize what you get for your image sources, and gives you confidence that you're choosing images that are going to be large enough and legal to use. So have fun searching and good luck.